Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text JUDGE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 321-321. That's JUDGE to 321-321.
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
It all comes back to money.
Visit our store right now at zonedeals.bigdealsmedia.net to take advantage of all the best deals in the Tennessee Valley. Or just go to our website, 977espn.com, and click on the Zone Deals logo to start saving right now.
Now, as to the price.
These deals won't last long, so get yours now. Zone Deals. You'll thank us later.
A man who could easily afford to buy a vowel.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? It might be in a call center somewhere, maybe 100 miles away, but my phone rings in my office.
The Lackey Law Firm.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're here. We're the ones who take your call.
And get what you deserve.
You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And this is the most important part. We'll treat you like family because that's exactly what we are.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Lots of wise and well-informed car buyers wait all year long for this time of year because they know year-end deals are worth the wait. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. We've got 700 Fords for you to choose from. And if you've had your eye on a 24 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, or Escape, listen up. Come and see us at Woody Anderson Ford today, and you'll drive home with no payments for 90 days, plus get financing as low as 1.9% for 60 months and $1,000 in bonus cash. This is good, and it bears repeating. Come get your best year-end deal on a 24 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, or Escape, and you'll keep your cash for the holidays and make no payments for 90 days. You'll also get financing as low as 1.9% for 60 months. Plus, we're going to throw in $1,000 holiday bonus cash. The year end is here, and we've got the deals that make it worth the wait. With your good credit, these offers end December 31st, only at Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Auburn vignettes yesterday during the drive. I am live basically about 30 miles outside of St. Louis, Missouri on the Illinois side. Don't say Illinois. It's on the Illinois side. Don't say Illinois. Anyway, Wes Neighbors is back in the studios of 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We are walking you up to some Thursday night football. And if you want someone to blame for the weather, I did turn on a fan when we came into town. I don't know if that encouraged the weather to go down south. But if it's as windy down there in Alabama as it is up here in the St. Louis metropolitan area, goodness gracious. I can handle cold weather. Cold weather, not a huge deal. But the wind, Lord of mercy. Anyway, if you'd like to be a part of the program, you can do so. And I am kind of burying the lead here a little bit for those longtime listeners of this particular radio show. You know, we usually have some regular guests that come on. Well, I'm happy to report coming up here in about 15 minutes, Jerry Glanville is going to join us as Coach Glanville not having to get his Rangers ready for a playoff run because they did not make a playoff run. But nonetheless, it'll be awesome to hear from the defensive coordinator for the Northwestern Oklahoma State Rangers.
Coach is just making it fair for everybody else.
He really is. Just trying to give everybody that cheat code, and honestly, that is what I've kind of deciphered a little bit of maybe what Brent Venables has done of giving other teams a cheat code, be it what Arkansas was able to discern of after what they did to Tennessee. I know they lost to Tennessee, but I really feel like Brent Venables is an excellent defensive mind. And Wes, what kind of feedback did you get out of Chris yesterday? I heard a little bit of that conversation. Chris Plank from the Sooner Radio Network. He was paying Alabama some big compliments. How are you, Wes?
Yeah, and it was I'm doing good, Steve. He just said the offense is terrible. I mean, that they've had a lot of injuries on the offensive line. They haven't been able to protect, and the great transfer experiment hadn't worked so far for them. And he was hoping they'd play a little better this week. And but he was of the impression that he thinks that Alabama is hitting all cylinders now, and maybe they are. But I thought they were in the Georgia game as well, and then we saw what happened the next couple weeks. They just didn't play as well. So to me, I'm looking for consistency. To me, on both sides of the ball, and this is going to be a test for Alabama offensively. And they need to pass the test. This is a good defense. It's going to be, the last really good defense we faced was against Tennessee. Of course, South Carolina's pretty good as well. Missouri's nobody's bad in the Southeastern Conference.
No, nobody.
And, going there, the whole key is not turn the ball over. Don't give them anything easy, and make them drive and make them beat you. And I don't think they can do that. What I don't like to see is, they mentioned how the points per game, this or that. Well, what happens is a lot of teams, and Tennessee even admitted as such, is the only way you can lose is turn the ball over against them. So you try to play it close to the vest, and you don't have to score a lot of points to beat them. And I'm not saying that's what Alabama should do, but they shouldn't take chances, early in the game. In my mind, to me, you make Oklahoma drive. Punting isn't a bad thing. Make them drive and go 80. and then you get the turnovers. They've had tremendous amount of turnovers this year. And you make them make plays to try to win, and they haven't been able to do that. So, sometimes statistics can be a little misleading because of that. But, to me, these last two games Alabama plays are very important against teams with good defenses that haven't played consistently on offense, but they've had good quarters, and you just hope they wait to somebody else to put it together.
Well, I mean, if anything, the committee told everybody Tuesday night that of the two lost teams, there is no two-loss team better set up to make the playoffs than Alabama.
Well, there's no question Alabama, if they win out, they're going to be in the playoffs in the regular season. I think that's, I saw Dave Portnoy made a $100,000 bet on Alabama to win the whole thing. So I don't know if that's
for
good,
him.
bad.
For me, that's like $20, right?
Yeah,
I'm equating what kind of money he makes.
Yeah, but it's still nonetheless it interesting to me. Interesting bet.
Well, on the programming sides of things, I did want to tell folks, as you can tell, I'm in a gymnasium. We're walking you up to NFL football here over the airways of 97.7 ESPN The Zone, where you've got the 8-2 Steelers taking on the 2-8 Browns. And over on Talk Radio WZZN, our pregame starts at 7:15 tonight. You can also catch the Chargers tonight on the Charger channel. If you download our app, and you need to download our app, search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store. If you don't have an HD radio or just would rather listen to it on Zone 2, that is where it'll say Charger Zone on it, and you just click on that, and that is how you can hear the game tonight with myself and Scott Tyson as the UAH Chargers taking on the Bearcats of McKendree University here in the state of Illinois.
Steve, you came up with a great idea.
What's that?
Next week is Thanksgiving. You'll be spending a lot of time with a lot of family. And considering, last month or so, maybe not everybody sees eye to eye. The one thing you can get through, have a way to get through this is get the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app on your phone and then your wireless earbuds, and you can get through Thanksgiving without having to talk to Uncle Earl and his opinions.
Boom.
And, Uncle Earl, he can get the Duck Radio WZZN app on his phone and his earbuds and not have to listen to you talk about football.
Okay, Temple, don't make me enforce our new strict policy of language here on the air.
Now, I'm not going to do my side any good by being crude.
All right. We're going to leave that to Wes and Wes alone. Because after all that's why we bought the dump button in the first place.
Hey, it's not me, it's Uncle Earl.
So we do have some college basketball for you coming up tonight, and should be a good one between McKendree and UAH. By the way, the Chargers now ranked 23rd in the country from the latest poll that just came out, as UAH on a little bit of a break, but 2-1 after the first 3 games of the season, and now ranked 23rd in the country, taking on the Bearcats here. And what is the Chargers' first true road game of the year, because that crossover classic down at Montevallo was neutral courts there between Barry as well as Nova that we played, and of course lost to Nova in overtime by a point. Let's tell you what, BJ, since you called in, let's sneak in your phone call, and then we'll talk to Jerry Glanville on the other side. How are you, BJ?
Well, 2 letters over, DJ, but I'm doing all right, man. As long as you get the J, I'm good. So,
all good.
Yeah. Well, I just want to throw a hypothetical out there. You guys chew on a little bit. Let's cut it down from 12 to 4, and who you got in those final 4 and why. And if Boise State is not in those final 4, tell me why about that too, because I feel like they took Oregon to the limit. So, there you go.
That was early, but thank you, DJ. Appreciate the phone call.
So hypothetically, I don't know who I'd have right now.
Well,
that's a whole different deal. I mean, you know,
I really like, to me though, Wes, I really like Jeff Sagarin's rankings. I mean, if you're telling me 4 teams, you tell me right now who's better of Alabama, Texas, Ohio State, Georgia. I mean, I can make some arguments for maybe Ole Miss. I can make some arguments for Oregon. I mean, but the way he's got them ranked, I'd say Bama, Texas, Ohio State, Georgia. If you're asking me, DJ, that would be my 4. I really agree with the rankings that Jeff Sagarin has right now, 1 through 4. Those would be my 4.
Yeah, I really. So I guess he's angling for Boise State, and I don't even know. I hadn't watched Boise State play. I know they have a good running back.
I watched Boise. Yeah, I watched Boise a lot against Nevada. I mean, I realized that was just one game a couple of weeks ago, but it really did not overly impress me in terms of physicality. I mean, because when you take a look at SEC football, I mean, it really you can see it on the screen. You can see how different it is on the O and D line there in the Southeastern Conference. Anyway, that's my 2 cents, DJ. Take that for what it's worth.
So to me, I think I would have to have the winner of the Big Ten, the winner of the South. If there's just 4, the winner of the Big Ten, the winner of the SEC, the winner of the Big 12, and then because those 3 conferences have been the best.
Yeah.
If you look at strength of schedules, you look at from top to bottom, not in that order either. It's been the Big 12 and the Big 10 as far as and then to me, you'd have to pick between the ACC champion and Boise of who's better. That's what I would say at this point.
Sagarin, by the way, has Boise ranked 23rd and a strength of schedule ranking of 91.
See, and to me, how do you put a team in that hadn't played a top 50 schedule?
Yeah.
I mean, even if you went to top 60, how can you put a team that really what that says is they haven't beaten anybody?
Thank you. All right, we do need to take our first time out. Get ready, boys and girls. It's been a minute. The one and only Jerry Glanville joins us next.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Lots of wise and well-informed car buyers wait all year long for this time of year because they know year-end deals are worth the wait. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. We've got 700 Fords for you to choose from. And if you've had your eye on a 24 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, or Escape, listen up. Come and see us at Woody Anderson Ford today, and you'll drive home with no payments for 90 days, plus get financing as low as 1.9% for 60 months and $1,000 in bonus cash. This is good, and it bears repeating. Come get your best year-end deal on a 24 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, or Escape, and you'll keep your cash for the holidays and make no payments for 90 days. You'll also get financing as low as 1.9% for 60 months. Plus, we're going to throw in $1,000 holiday bonus cash. The year end is here, and we've got the deals that make it worth the wait. With your good credit, these offers end December 31st, only at Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof, not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Ho, ho, ho! Bob Baumhauer here. Need a stocking stuffer for this Christmas? We've got you covered at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Surprise everyone in the house this year as they empty their Christmas stockings to find our popular gift cards. Now, through December 24th, you'll receive a $5 bonus card with every $25 gift card purchase. So put a Christmas smile on everyone's face with these great stocking stuffers. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food. Merry Christmas!
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
It is a Thursday edition of The Drive, along with Wes Neighbors. Steve Moulton back here with you. The D2 bracket is out. I did get a text back from Coach Colley. That would be Antonio Langham, for those that don't know. He is the secondary coach at Miles. They're getting ready to take on Carson Newman this weekend. But unfortunately, I don't see Northwestern Oklahoma State in the bracket. I say unfortunately for that side because their defensive coordinator is now kind enough to join us after his first year there in the Boomer Sooner State. As defensive coordinator Jerry Glanville is kind enough to join us. Coach, how have you been?
Well, you mentioned Carson Newman. Have you ever been to that campus? Have you ever seen?
Yes, sir, I have. Yes, sir.
Boy, that's a very nice program. You walk into the training facility and you think you're in an NFL club. They did such a great job of building everything for that Carson Newman. That's a heck of a job. So who's playing them? Who is the other team?
Miles. Miles is playing Carson Newman. We're rooting for the Bears, Coach.
Sam Shade and Antonio Langham. Sam Shade's the HUD coach, and Antonio Langham is the defensive
secondary
coach.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So, yeah, and my high school coach, Paul Glover, was a graduate, played football for Carson Newman.
Well, we had a real good football player played for us at the Atlanta Falcons for Carson Newman, and he was our special teams captain, won a lot of games. And now he's in charge of all the security at the Atlanta airport. So if you walk through there carrying a gun, you'll be arrested by my old safety.
I bet he won't miss a tackle, Coach.
No.
What was your first year like there in Oklahoma, Coach? Tell me about your experience there.
Well, we had great kids. The kids are just great. Tried to do everything we could do. We had very limited, even embarrassing offensive production. Like third down conversions, we were 0 for November.
Ooh.
It's hard to win. We punted 14 times a game, and it was just hard. And I gotta say, the kids never quit trying, and we could hold everybody off for about 2.5 quarters, and then the dam would break. Played probably 40. My brother would say 45% of the game was played on defense. West of us, we had 9 3-and-outs and got beat.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And West was with me. If we had 9 3-and-outs, we won by 30.
Yeah.
And that was my whole life was about 9 3-and-outs on defense. We did that and got massacred. So it was a tough year.
Yeah, Coach, my dad played for the Miami Dolphins for the first 4 years of their existence, and he said that when they'd come off, the defense would be begging them just to get a first down. Y'all need to get. They were so bad on offense.
Well, see, a defensive tackle, we had a great tackle, and he sat next to me, and he says, if they could just get one first down, Coach, it would sure help. And I said, if they do that, there won't be a movie. So, after 3 weeks, we got a first down by penalty, and I said, can we run that play again?
Well, I noticed Peter Schreier dressed up as you for Halloween, and then I saw you on the NFL Network there talking to Good Morning Football.
I was hoping you didn't see that because I thought you'd get jealous because they paid me more than you pay me.
Did they double it or triple it?
Yeah, it's way up there compared to what, Wes still owes me for fixing that flat tire on his police car.
Hey, do you still have your police car, Coach?
I drove it back from Oklahoma. I'm in Ohio as I'm talking to you. I was 17 hours, 1,003 miles, and it rained the whole way. And I kept looking in the window to see if anybody was chasing me, but I thought maybe you'd be behind me, but I couldn't find you. Now, mine's a little newer. Mine's a 2007. What was yours?
That's a good question. I think it was a 1984.
84, because that,
sure.
Yeah, that's 84. He had the Ford with the 5.4 liter. I got the Hemi, man. So if anybody wants to race me, they got to get after it.
So, Coach, talk a little bit about your racing time. I mean, that was, I didn't know that I didn't know about your wreck.
Well, we got a few wrecks. You get the wrecks when it was much more dangerous than it is now. They now have soft walls. They all have the neck braces and they built the cars safer. When we drove, you'd maybe get in 3 bad wrecks a year. You have to struggle coming back from one of those. Probably the worst one I had in Kentucky, I got the car caught on fire, and that's what everybody hates. And I could tell sitting in the car that they couldn't put the fire out, and they couldn't get me out of the car. So I looked down at my shoes, and my shoes had melted to goo, and I sort of put my feet up in the seat, and that's the last thing I remembered,
That's wild.
But I knew then, I said to myself, so this is it. You're dying in this car with your hair on fire.
And here you are, Coach.
What year was that?
You remember, Rich? What year was the fire, Rich? I don't know. We're too old to remember.
That's such a fantastic answer. That is.
What's interesting, my brother's daughter saved my life. They called up the family, told them all I wouldn't make it. I was in the Kentucky Burn Center in Lexington, and my brother's daughter came in there, and she shook my toe and woke me up. And I couldn't talk because I had a trach down my throat, and I made a signal I need paper and pencil. And she went and got paper and pencil. I said, get a suction hose. I'm drowning in my own saliva. And, they got that, and they took all this black soot from the fire retardant had gotten into my lungs. They're not allowed to spray you unless you're gone. And they sprayed me twice with the fire retardant. And when you inhale that, you got a problem. And if it wasn't for her waking me up, I think I would have died right there in bed. and a lot of people would have thrown a big party.
Man,
that was, it was very dangerous then, and now I'm so glad it's not that way. I drove at tracks where people died. I drove at Toledo, Ohio, and a guy got killed, and I drove at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and a guy got killed in the race. So I've been in those races where it's been dangerous. I did that 15 years, Wes.
that is crazy. 15
Well, it's kind
years.
of funny. We went down to play Alabama at Alabama. I was at Hawaii, and then the game was over. We played a hell of a game. And I was trying to get to the bus, and all these people, and I was signing all. And it's kind of funny. It took me an hour to get out of the tunnel to get to where our bus was. Everybody said, "Boy, they all had football cards." I said, "There wasn't one football card I signed. They were all NASCAR cards."
That is crazy.
Yeah, there wasn't one football. Every kid stood there with a NASCAR card, had to be signed.
So did you get back in the car after the wreck?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everybody said a couple of them I wouldn't, but I did. And the one time I shouldn't have. I had hit the wall in Phoenix, Arizona. You couldn't come back until it's like concussion protocol. And I got the doctor to say I was fine.
Hey, Coach, you still there? It sounds like you dropped out a little bit.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, we got you loud and clear now, Coach.
Hey, Coach, we put our crack staff on it. That wreck was back in May of 2003 when you had the wreck.
May of
21 years ago.
2003,
Wow.
May 9th.
Can you imagine that? I was dead 21 years ago.
That is crazy.
I'm watching a YouTube video of that right now.
And now you're legal drinking age again, Coach.
Well, what's fun is I tell everybody I'm on borrowed time. I'm playing with house money. I shouldn't be here, so I try to have twice as much fun.
So, what was the bigger rush? NFL playoff game, racing?
Well, when you come around turn 4 and you're in third gear, you're waiting for the spotter to say green, green, green to start the race. I tell everybody, when you come around there and you're getting ready to go and everybody's 5 inches from each other, it's exactly like covering a kickoff. And they say, "Why is it like that?" I said, "If you want to live forever, you shouldn't be doing either one."
That's the damn truth.
Yeah. And I say, if the hair on your arm's not standing up to cover a kickoff or to start that race, you shouldn't be there.
That's the truth. That is the truth. That is a great analogy.
What about Alabama? Only time I turned the TV on, I saw them playing Kentucky. Kentucky played them real, real good. And then, or maybe that was a Kentucky, Georgia. Was that real close?
Yeah, that was
Kentucky, Georgia.
Yeah.
That was Georgia. And then I saw Vanderbilt beat Alabama. I said, "This is a joke. It didn't happen." But stuff happens,
Yes, it does,
Alabama.
Coach.
Steve and I were talking about that game yesterday, and the thing about it is, if they'd had 2 more minutes, they'd scored again. We could not stop them. We could not stop them. I mean, I was talking about the offense played well in that game, except for really 2 plays. And if they'd gotten the ball back, they would have scored and won. But they couldn't. They were never be. We couldn't stop them. They had our number. They were running. We're.
That Pavia kid's pretty good, Coach.
Yeah, he played very well.
How about I looked at Indiana, and they got the quarterback from Ohio U, and his brother's a big star up there, British Columbia in the CFL. And the quarterback from Ohio U went to Indiana, and they've been on a storm ever since.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see this weekend. I think I guess the coach at Indiana actually recruited Wesley, my oldest son, that played at Alabama. He was at Alabama then, and the guy's a sharp guy. I never knew he would be this kind of coach, though. He's done well everywhere he's been.
Kurt Signetti.
Yeah, but this year they have not beaten a team with a winning record. Is that true, Steve?
I'll double check that. I think that's right.
I tell you, I about passed out when they were 5-0. They were playing Duke, who was 5-0, and I had to check it. Those two have never been 5-0. It's the same time in the history of football, and they were playing region. Of course, they beat Duke. I don't know what happened to Duke after that, but it was kind of neat that these two teams who struggled, both 5-0 playing each other.
Well, and you look at Vanderbilt's the middle of the pack SEC school, and
6-4, 3-3.
Yeah, and you look at
LSU
all these teams
6-4 3-3.
Yeah, all these teams are competitive, and and you got to say that the NIL is what's making them competitive, and the transfer portal, the combination of both.
Well, the NIL, the number one team is Colorado, and then number 3 team is Indiana. And then how about this? NLI money spent, the number 1 team is $45 million is Ohio State. So remind me, when you were in the NFL, the 49ers had a guy named Ed DeBartolo was the owner, and he bought those Super Bowls. As you know, he went out and got everybody else's player for more money. And I'm anxious to see if what Ohio State did, if you could go buy a national championship through the portal. And this is a good test because they're number 1, spent $45 million in the portal. So, and we'll just see how good they are. And if you can do that, then I think there'll be more people making a run to do it that way.
So I heard it was like $13.5 million. They spent $45 million.
Ohio State, yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, a quarterback right now, the poor coach that at Nebraska used to be a member of the Carolina Panthers. He got mad at his NIL people. They gave him $6 million to get a quarterback. He goes, I can't get one. I can't get one for $6 million. I need more money. And so you take the quarterback at Tennessee. He's making more. He got more money than Donald Trump.
So as much as we talk NIL, Coach, do you see it in Division II world, Coach?
Not in Oklahoma. There's no NIL in Division II in Oklahoma. But they play 6 schools in Arkansas. And Division II in Arkansas is NIL. And I don't need to tell you, all the Arkansas schools kids beat up the Oklahoma kids. They really split the league. There's 6 in Arkansas, 5 in Oklahoma. And if you're in Oklahoma, you're just trying to beat the other Oklahoma teams because you're trying to see who the best of the non-NIL is.
That is a huge disadvantage in Division II world. I can't even express how big of an advantage that is in the Great American Conference. That is, wow. That is game changer, would change the definition of game changer right there, Coach.
Well, it's kind of funny. They don't pay anything like the D1s, but West will like this. If you're an offensive line coach in an Arkansas school in the D2, you can make $3,000 a game, coming out of the shower. So, that's nothing like the D1s, but it still gives you pocket money. And one thing I learned from Wes, if you got a police car and you got pocket money, you got fun down the road.
How much NFL have you watched, Coach?
I haven't got to see much of any, but I was so proud of Detroit, everything they're doing. And I never heard the 49ers lost McCaffrey, the running back, and fell off a little. I never heard. Did you two ever hear what his injury was?
No, sir, I did not. I'm about to look that up.
I think they kept that a secret, whatever happened to him. I was the only guy who was at Stanford, and I said he's too small. He's really good, but he's going to get hurt. And he's going to get hurt. Well, he went to Carolina and got hurt. He got hurt, so that was the one time I was right. And then he didn't get hurt in San Francisco, but then this last season. But I never heard, what it was. That
I am trying to look that up right now. But
it's
you're
been
right
a bunch
about
of muscle strains, I believe, Coach.
Well, he's got muscle. He's like you. He's built. I used to tell Wes he's built like Tarzan, but he hit like James. Well, this
guy. It says this is from USA Today, released today, Coach, that Christian, due to an Achilles tendon issue.
Oh, wow. See, that's the first time I've heard that. And Achilles tendon takes one thing, time. You get an Achilles heel, it's a time deal. Then you have to wear a heel cup. You have to wear a plastic heel cup when you're playing football. But as you're walking around your apartment, your house, or you're walking them downstairs, you have to wear a sponge heel cup, or you're not going to get well. So when you see him playing next, he'll have a plastic heel cup, whatever side of that was. I know a lot about that.
As of today, again, this is from USA Today, so take it for what it's worth. He is expected to suit up against the Green Bay Packers.
Well, the Packers, I thought Love was so good at the end of last year, and the Packers, I think, are still a good football team. They're just not getting enough wins right now.
And then, Coach, we've got the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, those Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I'm shocked. I thought Wes would have me in there by now. I thought Wes would have the head coach gone and whistle me on in there, but Wes isn't as big in Dallas as he used to be.
Well, hey, listen, I'm waiting for Jerry to sell the team. Because I don't believe anybody wants to get there where the owner does the press conferences after the game.
No, Sam. I interviewed him one time. It was one time when we were not on air. I tell you, the whole interview. He flew me to San Diego at the Super Bowl had been played at the Chargers, and he had just got rid of the guy that coached at Oklahoma. Who was that now? The guy that followed Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, you're talking about that mullet.
Yeah, thank you. No?
The head coach at Oklahoma, and he coached
Barry Switzer.
So they asked me to go one day when we're not on air. We don't dare say, but so I went in there and interviewed with him. I was working, had a good job, luckily, so I didn't have to give in to anything you wouldn't give in to.
I mean, something you told us a while back has been kind of echoing in my brain, Coach, and that is Deion Sanders to the Dallas Cowboys. And
that is, they are very close. He's very close when he played there, and they maintained. When Deion and I were doing TV together, he talked to Jerry a lot. So I know that they're good friends. And I think Deion's two sons probably graduate at Colorado, so that's not beyond the realm of possibility.
Oh, I've been reading that. That's a huge rumor.
Yeah.
Right now that's coming down the pipe.
Well, on your show when they announced Deion going there, this is 2 years ago, I said, well, that's just a jump-off point to get to Dallas.
Yeah, I remember you saying that as well.
Yeah.
That's 2 years ago. I just felt that. knowing.
Well,
all the
I've been thinking about it ever since. Well, honestly, I mean, ever since you said it, because it makes a lot of sense to me, Coach.
Yeah.
Given both of those egos, and I don't know them nearly as well as you do, obviously, Coach, but it makes a lot of sense.
It was kind of funny. One time I was in New Orleans, and there's somebody, the House of Blues. I was in there singing with a group, Boom, Boom, Boom. And here comes Jerry Jones into the House of Blues in New Orleans. And looked up on stage, and I was singing. It was awesome.
You know, Coach, what haven't you done? Have you run with the Bulls? I mean,
No, I did just about everything that a human being should do, except I never drove West's police car. I'll never forgive myself for that.
Have you jumped out of an airplane? I mean, what else have you done, Coach?
Oh, I've been blessed, really, to drive NASCAR. Then, unfortunately, I did TV. You know, I did this Fox, CBS, HBO, and all that. So I've really had about 10 lives, and just fortunate to still be able to do what I like to do.
It really is remarkable. So when did you start getting up on this? Go ahead, Coach.
First coaching job, Steve. I was a defensive. You guys will die when I tell you this. I was a defensive coordinator at a school in Ohio in 1964. And I'd never coached. I just got out of college. And I said to the principal, well, why did you hire me to be your defensive coordinator? I don't have any experience. And he goes, you're the only guy that applied that could teach driver ed. So you got the job. now, Wes, you gotta listen. That's 1964.
Yeah. That's the year I was born.
10 years later, 1974, I'm the defensive coach of the Detroit Lions.
Yes, sir.
10 years later, I'm the head coach of the Houston Oilers.
That's crazy.
I mean, this should be a movie.
Yeah, you're right.
In fact, the guy said, we want to do a movie. Who do you want to play your part? I said, you can't do the movie. The guy that played me died. They said, who was that? I said, Marlon Brando.
But I'm trying to imagine driving school in Perrysburg, Ohio, being taught by Jerry Glanville. How hard of a teacher were you, Coach?
It's funny you say that. Years later, I was racing at MIS in Michigan, and we came in third in the NASCAR race in Michigan, and my driver ed students all sat together and came to the race, and they came down to the car after the race. They said, wow, thank God you didn't drive like that with us in the car.
You know, you can't make this stuff up and it be any better.
No.
It's just
and then
amazing.
You're singing in the House of Blues as well. So, I mean, goodness gracious. This is not a movie. This is a 9-part docudrama, Coach.
Well, I got to sing at I guess it was 2 years ago. I got to sing at the big show in Indiana with Danny Shirley, and we sang "Knocking on Heaven's Door," and he played the harmonica, and everybody in the building stood up and turned the light on their telephone. It was awesome.
That is awesome.
I don't know if you know the words, but if you ever get time, read the words to "Knocking on Heaven's Door." Mama put these guns in the ground. I don't need them anymore. It's Bob Dylan wrote it in Chris' office for the movie Billy the Kid. That's the history of the song. And then it ended up there. I was in Indiana singing, and that's just 2 years ago.
Do you, I mean, outside of your kids being born or your grandkids, do you have a favorite moment that you were just a part of, either as a coach or on a stage or behind the wheel? Do you have a favorite moment of that? Was pretty cool.
I have some moments which, for instance, in the ninth round, you drafted, and West knows him. I drafted Jeff Donaldson, safety from Colorado. Too short, too small, too slow, can't play. And coaching him, and then he becomes the highest paid safety in football. And he goes with Marty Schottenheimer to Kansas City Chiefs because the Houston Oilers won't ante up the money.
Won't pay him. Yeah.
And the fun of coaching, you got a guy out of the 5th or 6th round, and he becomes the guy. I coached a bunch of Hall of Famers. I tell everybody, Dion was going to Hall of Fame. Didn't matter who coached him.
That's true. Yep.
And everybody Hall of Famer I coached, and Wes, you were with some of the guys I had, Matthews and Munchak. They're going to Hall.
Yeah.
I got nothing. Yeah. But to see that low round guy become the best guy at his position, that beats any amount of money you can make, anything you can do by yourself. And you get joy out of the joy that how good they've become. That's the fun of it.
You know, Coach, and that says a lot about you, in my opinion, as well. And you know, so just so Munchak was a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He went in the same class with Don Shula. Think about that. I mean, you know, Munchak's what, 4 or 5 years older than me. Don Shula, it took them 20-something years to put him in. Munchak was one of the best offensive linemen I've ever watched on film. Now, Bruce Matthews was the most athletic lineman, played all of them, could snap the ball better than he could throw the ball between his legs, Steve, better than most people can do it. Do it normal. It was unbelievable.
I tell everybody, they said, "How good was Matthews?" This may hurt your feelings, Wes, but you need to get straight out anyway. I said he was the best tackle I ever had. He was the best guard I ever had. He was the best center I ever had, and he was the best long snapper.
No, it's not long snapper. I've never seen anything like it. I saw him one day do it 45 yards
to
somebody between his legs.
Excuse me?
Yes, on a line.
45 yards
on a line.
Well, I used to time him for the punt. He was under 0.6, which means you can't block it if you can't block the punt if nobody blocks anybody. The punt snap was so fast, people didn't even try to rush the punter.
It was unbelievable how good he was.
Well, I will tell you.
Back.
I'm sorry, Coach. Please go ahead.
Then you go back to we had Jay Pennison, who I think was a free agent. You correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, he played it. He played for the Houston Gamblers, but yeah, he was a free agent because all of them were at that time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Jay Pennison, I tell, in my heart, in my mind, was as good as Munchak and Matthews, but he never got the notoriety because he wasn't the big draft pick or anything. But who could play better than Jay Pennison? Who?
I just know.
I'm waiting on you, Wes.
Well, I mean,
don't have an answer.
So when I used to watch Munchak, though, to me, everybody in the NFL is if you can get a stalemate, you're going to play in the NFL.
Correct.
But Munchak would put people. He'd have a flat back every game.
Yeah.
Didn't matter who he's playing against. Yeah. And to me, that made he to me he was unbelievable. But Munchak couldn't have played tackle. I guess he could have played tackle. But Matthews athletically was the most athletic big person I've ever seen.
Probably could have played tight end. That's how athletic.
Yes, no question. He could have played anything.
Yeah.
Jay was just a fighter.
He was the best, wasn't he?
Yes. I mean, we called him, and he could lock onto you, and you weren't getting away. It didn't matter who it was.
No. and you couldn't catch him holding.
No, I think he had 2 holding penalties.
Yeah.
I mean, he would hold every play. But he did it. He had perfect technique doing it, though.
What fun we had.
No, there's nothing
well, Coach,
wrong with it.
The final thing I'll tell you is you told me to ask Coach Saban whether or not he'd be interested in being a safeties coach at Northwestern Oklahoma State. I did ask him that, and he looked at me and just shook his head. And said, I'm good.
Well, you're not going to believe this. I'm getting harassed. Some company, they're doing a documentary on Saban's life, and they want to come here and do a big segment of me on Saban's documentary. And I said, I've done so damn many of these. Just look up all the paperwork, and go back and read when he went to Toledo, and just put that in there. They said, "Oh, you got to do it. You got to do it." I said, "I won't do it unless his wife calls me and asks me."
Oh, be careful now.
Yeah,
Miss Terry now. She might give you a
Hey,
call.
Coach, you know she outpicked him on game day.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Well, it's awesome to get you back in the fold, Coach. I'm glad you had safe travels, and we look forward to talking with you sooner rather than later, as always, Coach.
But the big game last night you didn't bring up. Ohio University beat Toledo.
Okay.
And that's the 2 powers. And Wes, here's why they won. Ohio University had 48 rushes, and Toledo had 24. So you know the score.
Yep.
Never changes, does it, Wes?
Nope.
Always.
And I read an article talking about how Tennessee just ran their running back 17 times for 100 yards against
19.
Georgia, 19 times, and they said they should have carried it 40, and they're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to send it to you. I got the picture of George Washington. I may have sent it to you, Wes. And he
Yes, you sent it to me, Coach. You sent it to me.
Tell him what it said. Do you remember?
This country was founded on running the football.
I love
it. And it's got a picture of George Washington as if he hit his words from our very first president. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, so are you,
Great
Coach.
talk.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, you know what? I will tweet that out on our main Twitter account right now. But I know we're severely late for a break. Go ahead and do that, Brian.
Well,
Drudy
I tell you
Armand.
what, we have lined up, and here in just another moment, we're going to honor Mr. Tom Abraham and do a break that way. However, every time we talk to Coach Glanville, we learn something new. I did not know about his racing career or anything. So as I do what I bring to this party, I try to have a theme for everybody that comes on.
There
The unknown stuntman. Because he has done everything else except jump out of a plane.
I mean, seriously, I was thinking about just life experiences outside of your kids being born, or if you have grandkids out there. I mean, I can't imagine. You could seriously have the life of Jerry Glanville as a docudrama.
There's no question.
Not
Anybody that gets hired because he's in drivers, he could teach drivers ed, and then ends up a race car driver is awesome.
I mean, I'm just telling you.
I had Coach Grubbs. He wasn't anywhere near like Coach Glanville.
No, my driver's ed teacher was my science teacher in high school. So oh man, that was he's always so good. He really is. And
never spent much time in school. Ladies plenty.
And I assume that he's getting ready to be going back to Northwestern Oklahoma State again to be the defensive coordinator for year 2 there for the Rangers. Always great stuff. Yeah. It's some that and maybe rework those D2 laws in the state of Oklahoma as well as compared to Arkansas. Anyway, Drudy Arman, you were in the on-deck circle. There was some significant recruiting news made today that involved Deion Sanders. We'll talk to Drudy Arman about that on the other side of this Sports Center timeout. It's The Drive. We'll be right back.
I got the dump button ready.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
It's an amazing time in our industry. Things are changing so rapidly. With digital signatures and workflow software, we help our customers work from anywhere. This helps you save time and money and upgrade your technology. Like I said, it's an amazing time to watch our customers grow and succeed.
Just ask anyone. The Lion's Secret.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. If you work in a dangerous or logistically intense industry, you know good training can be a challenge. There are training costs, safety concerns, and difficulty replicating real-world scenarios. There's a better way used right now in the Army and in all our armed services to better prepare our heroes, and it's available to you in your organizations. Higher Echelon's Game Development Team is revolutionizing learning in military training, dangerous industry, STEM, and sports performance domains with cutting-edge virtual training that immerses you in lifelike scenarios without the cost and safety concerns for trainees. With Higher Echelon's game-based training, you'll experience realistic simulations, precision accuracy, and unparalleled safety. Higher Echelon founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and puts that experience to use. His team has been building cutting-edge virtual training environments for soldiers and clients for a decade. Higher Echelon, the name you can trust for advanced training solutions. Reach out at higherechelon.com to get your free consultation. Go higher and go Army. By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, That is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news from baseball. Dodgers DH Shohei Ohtani is the unanimous National League MVP, his third MVP in 4 years, winning his first two with the Angels. Yankees outfielder Aaron Judge, the unanimous American League MVP, the second award in the last 3 years for Judge. The NFL spotlight falls on the AFC North tonight in Cleveland, with the last place Browns hosting the first place Steelers. Pittsburgh has won 5 in a row, but they won only one of their last 6 trips to Cleveland. Colorado may have its quarterback of the future. 5-star recruit Julian Lewis announced on the Pat McAfee show today he'll go to the Buffaloes just 4 days after he decommitted from USC. The Buffs' current QB, Shedeur Sanders, could be the first quarterback taken in the NFL draft. ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr.
Goff and Burrow have been as advertised, as expected. I think Shedeur going number 1 will be expected to be what Goff has been at 2 different places. Remember, he went to a Super Bowl with the Rams before he was kicked off to Detroit, where he's going to hopefully have them in a Super Bowl. And then you talk about Burrow, what he's done. It's been amazing.
Mel Kiper Jr. on Carlin versus Joe. The second leading goal scorer in NHL history, Capitals captain Alex Ovechkin, will be out 4 to 6 weeks with a broken left leg. ESPN has learned there's a federal investigation into former Temple basketball player Hasir Miller to see if he bet on his own games and tried to manipulate outcomes.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Friday. Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray, and Geno Smith. I'll tell you which QB in the NFC West I have the most confidence in the rest of the way. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
We are walking you up to NFL football. Week 12 of the National Football League is, of course, where you're home for the Super Bowl in New Orleans coming up in February. But tonight, it's the 8-2 Steelers taking on 2-8 Cleveland Brownies coming up here tonight. You can probably tell I am in a basketball gym right outside of St. Louis, Missouri. UH Charger basketball will be center stage tonight at 7:15 with the Chargers taking on McKendree over on Talk Radio WZZN. Wes Neighbors, he is back in the studios of 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Oh, I do need to tell you that the Charger zone, which is zone 2, if you go onto the website, 977ESPN.com, click on channels. This is how my mom listens. She'll click on zone 2, and that's how she'll consume tonight's game on zone 2. But if you download the app, it'll say Charger Zone, and you'll be able to hear it that way too. Drudy Arman is also with us in our weekly visits with Drudy Arman, brought to you by Environmental Comfort Systems, online at envcomfort.com. How are you, Drudy Arman?
I'm good, Steve. Sorry, I was in the process of talking Matt Moscona off the ledge after the number 1 player in America, Bryce Underwood, flipped from LSU to Michigan, the quarterback from Bellevue, Michigan.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that.
He took the 4-year, $10.5 million contract, I guess, that they were negotiating.
Excuse me? Do you want to roll back those numbers one more time
4 years, $10.5 million.
So what just happened?
Bryce Underwood, number 1 player in the 2025 class, number 1 quarterback. Been committed to LSU for months. I mean, many months, nearly a year.
Well,
he flipped to Michigan. to stay in his home state.
And they gave him $10.5 million.
Well, that's rumored
believe
and
that.
speculated for over a 4-year deal, not a 1-year deal, but
Right.
like a 4-year type contract with his agency. But yeah, that it's rumored it's about $10.5 million, and he's staying. And now they're trying to go after Alabama's offensive tackle commitment, Ty Haywood from Denton, Texas. He's got a new quote unquote agent who has been shopping his wares, and Alabama hopefully can nip it in the bud. They've certainly been doing that with Michael Carroll, who's the number 1 ranked interior offensive lineman in the class in 2025. He's at IMG Academy, formerly from Pennsylvania. He's been committed to Alabama for a while now. The school involved with him has been Coach Prime in Colorado. He just visited there, but supposedly Alabama has done a good job keeping him and his family in the fold. Now we'll see what happens with Haywood. They need to get, Keelan Russell from Duncanville, Texas, who's one of the top 2 to 3 quarterbacks in the cycle. He's been committed to Alabama for a while. They need to get him on Haywood and some of the other, commitments. But again, it's the way it is, man. That this is the world we live in, and Michigan's recruiting has not been going great, just simply because it's been a rough first year for Sharon Moore. But, they're trying to finish strong. They've got a very strong NIL collective, and they understand where they are in the pecking order right now, and they've got to get better in a hurry, because Sharon is not going to be given a lot of time. Replacing Jim Harbaugh. So that was huge, though. A lot of people thought, including Moscona, who I truly respect, he's one of the best in the business. I've been listening to him. He thought that LSU because Joe Sloan is their offensive coordinator that Underwood's got a really good relationship with. They thought they were going to be able to hold off Michigan, and they had a very lucrative offer, NIL offer to Underwood as well. But all of a sudden today, he just at the top of the first hour of the show, within the first 15 minutes is when he flipped.
Wow. So Moscona, I've been listening to him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think he drinks too much of the LSU Kool-Aid.
Well, he loves he is a Tiger.
Well, he mixes it up himself. He mixes it up himself.
Yeah, to me, he has this love and affinity for their quarterback, and the quarterback turns the ball over way too much.
Yeah, now Nussmeier has had a up and down first year as a starter, and Underwood probably would have been a guy that, like a DJ Lagway, would have come in and played some, but tried to learn under Nussmeier next year. But again, with Michigan, as everybody knows, they've had a quarterback carousel. So they're probably telling Underwood he can come right in and start. He's a Michigan guy from the state.
And Drew, it'd be different if LSU. If you watch that Florida game, and I was a recruit, the players are yelling at the coach is yelling at the players.
Are you talking about with LSU?
Yeah, it was awful.
It looked rough.
It was awful. I was shocked.
Yeah,
and they're stuck with that guy.
Oh yeah, they've got as Moscona's been telling people, he's not going anywhere. You gave him a 10-year, $100 million contract, and pretty much
because what right now would be $68 million, I think that he would be owed.
It's in the 70s. What I heard, you might be right, Steve.
Yeah,
but they were reporting I just remember 70s.
Okay,
68, 70 million bucks.
I read 68. I want to say from USA Today, but I don't know if that's 100% accurate.
That's a lot of money either way.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not Jimbo money, but in his neighborhood.
Yeah.
Well, there was also some
million, so it's not like it's going down fast.
Yeah,
and I don't think the guy's a fit for LSU. Didn't think it then, and got in an argument with T-Bob about it. And really, if Alabama would have won the game they should have down there, I think he would have been on the hot seat earlier. I think they've already given him an extension, right?
Well, I don't think they extended it.
No, I think they gave him a 10-year deal.
It was originally a
fully
10-year
guaranteed.
Deal, but they were excited because in his first year he won the West and all that, and then he beat Alabama, so it got them all pumped. And but now since then we know things have gone.
4 losses, 4 losses,
yeah,
4 losses, 4 losses,
yeah.
4 losses.
And I'm just praying, go Doors, please, please.
Well,
win this game.
If you listen to the last Whiskey and Wine,
WHINE, by the way.
There was a reference.
On there.
There is a reference to that part right there on why Jordy Armin is saying go anchor down, basically. But I did want to get to what Juju did earlier today. as he decommitted from USC, and this is the second overall ranked player in this recruiting cycle from Carrollton, Georgia, making his commitment to Colorado. And Deion Sanders, Drew, your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, you're talking about Juju Lewis, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm not surprised by it. You know, it's been trending that way for a while with Lincoln Sharman. I mean, Lincoln Riley. They've been playing so bad, and they're not having a good year. And he already flipped. You know, the dominoes fell quickly. Juju decommits and commits to Colorado. And I think, you know, Alabama recruited him for a while, but I don't think the new staff, when they decided to choose their quarterback for the class, from what I understand, with the NIL offer that he wanted, and then they evaluated him, they just thought Keelan was a better fit for them, and they flipped him from SMU. And certainly Keelan Russell's gone on to, to have a monster senior year and shoot up in the rankings. But I felt like for a while that Juju Lewis would not end up at USC. Matter of fact, for a while I thought he might end up at Auburn. Because I know Hugh Freeze and those guys spent a long time recruiting him, but they ended up flipping Deuce Knight from Notre Dame. And with Coach Prime, and they're having a much better year this year. They struggled in the Pac-12 last year, but it would be a mild surprise at this point, I think, if they didn't end up in the Big 12 championship game and have a chance to go to the playoff if they win the league. And with Shedeur having such a great year, I mean, he's going to be – I think we were just hearing on the way in here on the TV, I think – Mel Kiper was saying that he's going to be in a top 5 pick overall. And with the success they're having, I'm not surprised at all. And I think he's coming off of a visit to Colorado, so it doesn't surprise me that Shedeur has had the success he's had, and that it attracted Juju Lewis. Because my only small question is, if you're Juju, like, have you been assured by Deion that he's not going to the NFL? You know,
Deion's going to the Cowboys.
I mean, because if that happens, then, you know, all heck's going to break loose. Because
I would agree with that.
I mean, all those kids are going. They're not going for these assistant coaches. These kids are going for Deion.
Well, they're going for the money, Drew.
And that.
Yeah. I mean, let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And they might change their mind tomorrow.
Yeah. And then
when is signing day?
The 4th of December.
4th of December.
It's moved up. And then Alabama, I think, is going to get another flip. They want one more corner in the class, and they've been working a kid from Tupelo, Mississippi, Mason Dunn, really hard. He's been visiting several times. I think he's going to come back for the Iron Bowl. He's going to flip from Ole Miss to Alabama, in my opinion, at least from, you know, the people that I would trust. That's kind of been in the works, kind of like Juju Lewis, though, and even Bryce Underwood. It's been in the works for a while. Again, for Alabama, though, right now, they've got to work on Ty Haywood, and, you know, they're going to put a big NIL offer in front of him. I don't think Alabama's going to try to match it, but they've got to convince Haywood, who admitted today that he's never visited Michigan, never been there, quote unquote, has interest in them, though, and they're trying to get him to visit. He can't visit this weekend because of high school football playoffs, but they're trying to get him to visit. And if he visits, then you can probably pretty much read the writing on the wall. He's probably going to flip. So he says he's still communicating with Alabama all the time, and they're on the same page and this and that. But if you're Kalen DeBoer, Courtney Morgan, you just got to try to nip it in the bud and get him committed.
What about the tackle? Was it deep tackle or defensive tackle that was committed? A 4-star guy, I believe, that's committed to USC as decommitted today. Or last week, and they're talking about he might go to Colorado now as well.
Well, I mean, possibly.
You know who I'm talking about?
Well, I know the most high profile that left, several weeks ago on the team was Bear Alexander, who actually spent a year at Georgia, then spent a year at USC, and then left the team in the first few weeks, kind of like
he quit.
Yeah, Jaheim Otis. And you know, I've heard Alabama connected to him, but I wouldn't. I know someone in the state of Texas very well that was familiar with him, and I wouldn't mess with Bear Alexander.
No, I'm talking about a guy from Alabama, an Alabama high school.
Oh, you're probably talking about the offensive tackle from Baker.
Yes, I think.
Yeah, okay. Well, I didn't know he had. Now ironically, he had committed to Auburn early. I mean, this is in the summer, and then he flipped to USC. I did not realize he had reopened his recruitment, but it happens. I mean,
they're saying he might go to
Colorado
as well.
I mean, Alabama didn't recruit him as hard because, again, they spent all their time on the 5 they've had committed, and now you're trying to hold on to those 5, and we'll see what happens with Ty Haywood. But I mean, Alabama needs to do some work and try to get him locked down.
Well, it sounds like we're having to steer dish back around again to get Steve. So talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a comment. I'll give you a topic.
No, but
that's
just what I mean. And the thing is, this year the signing period moved up. It's the first Wednesday in December, which is kind of crazy because it's the week of the championship games. And then you're trying, and most of these kids, I'd say 90+% of them are going to commit and sign early. I mean, there'll be a few that'll wait. Like Ty Haywood, for example, is not an early enrollee, according to what he said today. He said, but he'll sign in December. And so if you're Alabama, and of course there's rumors that he's got a $5 million offer coming individually from Michigan, which I think in the long run is going to be a disaster, because if these guys don't perform up to, if they're not first round picks, the coach is going to get his butt fired, and then your locker room is going to be a shambles. And again, and I think that's what DeBoer and Courtney Morgan are working on too. And that's what Coach Saban always preached about, a caste system in his locker room. He didn't want to have to deal with all that. And so there were certain players that he didn't recruit, Walter Nolan being among them, who's at Ole Miss now, because he had such a circus around him coming out of high school. I think they thought he was a big-time player, but he went to 3 different – these people are going to these 3 and 4 different schools in 4 years in high school. It's a problem because I mean, Walter Nolan, I think he went to at least 3. And the first time I ever heard of him when he was a sophomore, he was at Olive Branch, Mississippi. And then he ended up in Knoxville, Tennessee, playing his senior year. Of course, didn't even go to Tennessee at the time because I think they got outbid by Dirt Neck and Texas A&M. But I mean, he bounced around to so many different schools. It just kind of made you nervous. And Alabama signed kids like that blew up in their face too. Antonio Alfano being among them.
Well, the one I actually laid eyes on, I was on the same plane flight coming back from Washington, D.C.
Right.
And it was, the guy that was going to be such a great linebacker and then went everywhere. The spring they actually had a whole defense was designed around him. And then he got caught, I think, he was driving 80 with pot in the car and a gun.
Oh.
And he threatened and got caught in Coach Saban's office.
Hey, look who's back.
Yeah, and I think they had it out.
Are you talking about Yabi Anoma?
Yes.
Hey, Yabi Anoma. Yeah.
I think he's changed his name now.
Now he went to 4 different schools. Like his high school coach just got fired. He didn't even finish his second year at Charlotte. And he's actually been on the Talking Ball, Biff Poggi. Biff's a heck of a guy. I mean, he's a unique guy. He's a millionaire. He just coaches because he loves football. And he worked for Harbaugh twice, like at Michigan, as like a special assistant. And then he started that St. Francis Academy, basically bankrolled the whole operation. And Alabama had a little pipeline going there because of Sal Sunseri. Sal's actually on his coaching staff this year, which that's where Sal was. So Sal's looking for a job now too, very likely. So
wow,
yeah.
Sal was a heck of a football player too.
Oh, Sal for Pitt.
Played for the Cowboys.
Yeah, Sal was, and his son Tino was a good quarterback at Pitt. And we all know how good a football player Vinny was.
Well, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, before he got hurt. So
plays all over the field.
I still think if Vinny hadn't hurt himself, he probably would have been a first or a second round draft choice.
Well, Drew, I wanted to get into this Alabama-Oklahoma matchup, and honestly, as well, Texas A&M Auburn. But I first wanted to dive into. I mean, there is no doubt when you see Alabama play cleaner, that they're an elite football team. But scheme-wise, I would rank Brent Venables right up there with the top. Now, talent for talent, roster for roster, I realize Alabama has more. But I'm telling you, in my opinion, I think Brent Venables is a problem. How do you see this matchup?
I see Alabama, if they protect the ball, it's a very simple formula. They've executed its perfection the last 2 weeks, and I know Mercer was Mercer, but they didn't show any hangover or come out flat, in my opinion. Milroe has to use his legs, and they have to get him into a rhythm early. And using his legs, I think, is the best way to get him into a rhythm as a passer. And I think they figured that out. And then I think, they have to outrush the other team as a whole. And then they have to have a multifaceted rushing attack, not just Milroe, but you got to get the backs involved. You got to get the wide receivers. Last week, Ryan Williams was a big part of the running game early, attacking the edges.
It as well at LSU?
Yeah, you have to do that. And then last week, Kendrick Law made a couple of nice runs against LSU. He didn't do much against Mercer, but he's still a guy that has factored in. And then the biggest thing, you got to take the ball away. And then the only game they've lost this year where they didn't take it away was Vanderbilt. If they had taken the ball away at all, they would have won that game. They didn't take it away. They actually won the plus-minus against Tennessee, but, we all know they just did not score enough in the first half. They played their worst game of the year. I thought
on
they played
offense,
they played worse. I mean, I know they didn't play well defensively against Vandy, but I just thought overall as a team they played their worst game because they didn't really play a great second half defensively either against the Vols. They just didn't play great, and Tennessee had something to do with that.
No question.
But still, they just didn't take advantage of opportunities. And so I just think overall, if Milroe gets going as a runner and passer, and then they protect the football and take it away, and then if they outrush Oklahoma, and Oklahoma, I know they've gotten healthier, but if you look at them, they still don't have a great offensive line. They don't have a great running attack. They've got this is a get right game in a way. Alabama just got to stay focused, and it's still a dangerous game because of Venables and his defensive acumen. But I anticipate Alabama wearing Oklahoma down, eventually turning them over a few times, and I got them winning 31-13.
So, Drew, Bray Hubbard.
Yeah.
He has come in and made a huge difference.
Oh, he has. I mean,
why is that?
Well, because he was prepared. I mean, I talked to him after his breakout game, which was the interception against Missouri. And see, the people, because Missouri was banged up, they're not giving Alabama enough credit for beating Missouri like a mule, like the way they did. But Bray had a great game. He had 7 tackles. He had a pick.
Yeah, they beat Oklahoma the next week.
Yeah.
Bray has 4 interceptions? 3 or 4?
He's got 2. Because he had one against Missouri, and then he did get one against LSU. He didn't get one last week, so it would have been 3 straight, but he didn't get one last week. But he has a couple, no doubt about it. And some of this Pro Football Focus stuff makes my head hurt, but some of it, you really does open your eyes. Alabama has the only top 10 safety duo in the country from the standpoint of the way where they're ranked, and that's Malachi Moore and Bray. So you could argue. Sorry, Steve. I was just going to say you could argue that he's played even better than Keon Sabb, but I'll give him credit. When I talked to him after the Missouri game, he gave Sabb full credit for preparing him to play. And I'll just say I followed Bray's recruiting process. It was a very interesting one. Most people thought he was going to play college baseball. He was committed to Southern Miss for like 2 years, but going into his senior year, he started going to football camps, and he was a dual threat quarterback from Ocean Springs, Mississippi that only played defense situationally. He went to Mississippi State, got that offer, and then people thought he was going to play both there, and then came to Alabama to camp and was basically handpicked by Saban to be a safety at Alabama. And it's amazing because, again, he didn't play full-time defense till he got to Alabama, but he spent last year mostly as a special teams player, but he's a heck of an athlete.
He is unbelievable. I mean, he's great. I don't want to jinx him, but he hadn't missed a tackle.
Right.
He is always in the right spot. He has just a great feel for the game.
Does, absolutely.
His uncle used to take him to Alabama games. He's a big Alabama fan growing up, and I think you can tell that it means a lot to him.
Well, and where he's from is down there near Mobile, so he didn't grow up far from the state of Alabama because he's got a lot of friends in South Alabama. But he's just a heck of a player, man. And it's one of those things where sometimes an injury can open a door, and it's opened a door. Alabama should get Keon back next year, but now you already have a replacement because Malachi, he'll start getting his Social Security checks, I think, in January. So he's going to move on to professional football or whatever opportunities he gets. And so, or coaching, I think Malachi will have a chance of playing the NFL. But again, Malachi is going to move on, and so you've already got a Keon Sabb like Bray Hubbard combination. And let's also not forget, a big part of what Kane Womack does from defensively revolves around the safety position. So he's a good fit for the scheme also.
Let's move down to the Plains. At Texas A&M and Auburn, do you have any inkling as to how this one's going to go?
I mean, I would pick A&M in a very, very close one. But every time I say that, then Auburn plays awful. But, I mean, I really think like somebody asked me this the other day. I would say like a 28-23 type game. It's going to be played in the 20s. If it gets out of there, then Auburn is in big trouble. But
well, let me say this. I heard a player from Texas A&M said their whole focus is Texas.
Well, that was actually Coach Elko.
Yeah, that was Coach Elko.
And I don't think
he immediately corrected himself.
Yeah, and somebody said, "Would you do that on purpose?" I said, "I don't think so. I think he was like, yeah, our total focus is on Auburn."
So that tells me why the line's 2.5.
Yeah,
this game's up for grabs.
I think it is.
And if Auburn can control the game, when I mean control the game, run the ball, get first downs, and don't turn the ball over, they have a chance in this game to win.
Do you like Kentucky or Florida or Mississippi State or Vanderbilt to pull off an upset this weekend?
I think Vandy would be the
Vandy is my hope and pick.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what
to hear.
I understand.
I think they can win. They had 2 weeks to prepare, and LSU stinks.
Yeah. Last time they had a bye week, they beat Bama. So
LSU's a dumpster fire. We'll see.
We had a caller text in and say Floyd beat Carr.
I'll be on Talk Radio.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Lots of wise and well-informed car buyers wait all year long for this time of year because they know year-end deals are worth the wait. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. We've got 700 Fords for you to choose from. And if you've had your eye on a 24 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, or Escape, listen up. Come and see us at Woody Anderson Ford today, and you'll drive home with no payments for 90 days, plus get financing as low as 1.9% for 60 months and $1,000 in bonus cash. This is good, and it bears repeating. Come get your best year-end deal on a 24 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, or Escape, and you'll keep your cash for the holidays and make no payments for 90 days. You'll also get financing as low as 1.9% for 60 months. Plus, we're going to throw in $1,000 holiday bonus cash. The year end is here, and we've got the deals that make it worth the wait. With your good credit, these offers end December 31st, only at Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do